Welcome back to the LCS Lounge. Here are the current standings for the Spring Split, and the biggest thing that we are looking to decide here is those final 2 playoff spots. 100 Thieves with a big win in Game 1, but we still have COG at 8-8, TL at 7-9, and TSM at 7-9. And here at the LCS Lounge, we like to pitch you things, and we thought that we're going to decide which car is going to take which team to the playoffs. Those of you in Twitch chat, you can help vote who you think is most convincing. I'm going to be doing CLG, so type the team's tri-code when you're in here, spam chat. But for me, I got to pitch you on a little guy that's going to be taking CLG to the playoffs. I have to find it, though. My assistant is bringing it out as we speak. And let me tell you, this is just a very run-of-the-mill, reliable vehicle. I was looking things up earlier. A vehicle like this is the most common everyman vehicle in the United States. It's gonna get you where you wanna go. It's not particularly luxurious, but it'll run you an average price. So I think that's just enough to get CLG into those playoffs. All right, Raz, what do you gotta tell us?
Well, let me tell you something. Now, I'm not too fan of the car that you're trying to sell me on, but I'm telling you about the TL GRX 500. Now, we could bring this beast out here. It's an import. Now, as you can tell, it's in the name, 500 horsepower. Don't worry about the bumps and bruises. That thing right there works beautiful. Now, if you're a little bit too worried about them, you question yourself as a driver. Now, just don't take too steep of a turn, and also, just be a little bit concerned about the brakes. You have to press the brakes a few times for it to actually work. But this thing has the potential to go far. So just be spamming TL if you have some belief and faith. And also, 500 also means we're hoping. We're praying to get over 500. So, all right, guys, I think that's you next, Emily.
Yeah, all right. Ignore those guys, because I have the best car for you. It is a safe and reliable station wagon. Unless you think this is boring, right? This thing is gonna take you, look, you just saw this car perform so well. You've got the classic, you know, like it's a little beat up, it's a little worn, but it has experience. And then you can take the kids, Tenacity and Bucio, pile them up in the station wagon all the way to playoffs, spam 100 in chat. If you agree, obviously my car is the best. You guys all suck. Like, I win this.
What is this segment? This is disgusting, this corporate mechanical crap. We're supposed to be on Fairy Court themed day and we're doing this segment. Give me something better. There, nature, mythology, beauty. The team I'm pitching you is TSM. They are Ents, all right? Just like in Lord of the Rings, you get on them, they're stable, they're reliable. It might take them a little bit to get going, but they're a scaling team, all right? Just hop on their shoulders, let them peruse you through the forest. You'll get a great look at nature. You know, they're at 7-9 right now. It's a rough looking road ahead, but once they start actually getting into combat, you saw what they did. They're incredible.
Does that run on diesel?
Hauntzer has been growing for a while.
Yeah. I was gonna say, did you make Maple the oldest one?
Yeah, I don't know, actually. Someone else photoshopped that, if I'm being honest.
That thing run on diesel?
No, it's disgusting. Industry is gross. We're gonna go ahead and look at what the bunny predicted while we tabulate the results from Twitch chat. Go ahead and pull up the bunny prediction.
Oh, for DSM and Dignitas.
Oh, yeah, for the game coming up.
Right.
Bunny.
Better agree with me.
go.
I'm at least on theme for today.
This is
So the
an
bunny.
incredibly indecisive bunny.
It's so distracted.
Pick the
Really
game.
cute, though.
Pick a ball!
Oh!
Oh!
The bunny is predicting the upset.
The hell with the environment.
I mean, there was a team that just subbed out a player.
The hell with the goddamn environment there.
All right, let's pull up the Twitch chat poll and see what
Come on.
they agree with the most.
Yes!
Okay.
Hunter, you went
A station
wagon
wagon.
first, and they
A
just won the
station
game.
wagon, come on.
went
It's a red station wagon.
Okay.
I'm telling you, the experience is taking the kids all the way to playoffs.
I'm
How
going
can
to
you not
sleep.
agree
The
with
only kids here is the barbecue dinner I'm having tonight. Thank you.
All right, we're gonna go to the casters, Azael and Flowers.
What are you?
What are you talking about?
That didn't even make sense. The only kids is the barbecue dinner I'm having tonight.
Raz,
Come
what
on,
the hell
Raz.
does that mean, man?
Raz is drunk.
Oh, drunk on cars.
Somebody come get your Raz.
For Fairy Week. We've got. Can the people
I
at home hear the
appreciated
music that we
the
could
Tree
hear?
SM tie-in though.
Yeah, no, the TSM thing made a little bit more sense.
It's an old meme, but it checks out.
Yeah, I'm down with it. Okay, now we've got, all right,
Oh.
battle theme.
Yeah, we're not at the inn anymore. Now we're on an adventure.
Yeah, this is like Lord of the Rings journey music. I'm down with this. We're telling a story.
Oh,
they started
true.
off in the inn.
Yeah.
They got the party together. Now they're having
Yeah,
the
this is
adventure.
the hopeful beginning to the journey.
Does that mean that game 3 is going to be like dungeon crawler music?
Yeah, it's probably going to be, something's going to go bad in game 3.
Okay, so game
There's
3
going to be a
is
lot of pauses.
dungeon crawler. Don't say. Why would you? Of all
Because
the things
that's the
that-
thing that's going to go bad.
That's the dungeon. Is you just get paused
yeah.
forever.
Yeah, that's the dungeon for the
Man.
viewers at home.
That is not the dungeon.
They're
I
in
was-
pause jail.
That is. I was hoping for some like epic adventure versus
Nope,
orcs
that's
or
game 4.
skeleton. No. Oh,
Right
all
before the big conclusion in game 5.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and hop into game 2 here. TSM going up against Dig.
Hey, I know that guy.
Yeah, we got Sejuani, Thresh, Rakan, Elise, Annie, and mystery character number 6, Caitlyn, all banned out.
Yeah, Hauntzer making his return. Remains to be seen if it will be triumphant. As Turtle has been looking pretty good since he actually came back up, and a lot of the NACL folks talking about Hauntzer, very positively, felt that he was the most kind of like LCS ready from the TSM squad in NACL. Wildturtle obviously came up first, have been doing very well, so we'll see how Hauntzer is going to be able to perform. I've got to say, I'm a little bit surprised by the swap, unless
Yeah.
there's something going on behind the scenes. But Solo, I think most people have been pretty positive on Solo and what he has done for the squad. He's been very stable, very steady for the team. But we'll see if Hauntzer can bring something a little bit different. Clearly, TSM felt that they need to make a bit of a change here. Maybe feeling like they're up against it in this final week.
I mean, they are, right? They've
Yeah.
got 7 wins, 2 games to play. You need to win both of them if you want to have a chance of making it into playoffs. This first one, you are up against the last place team in the league.
And then they have
Dignitas
FlyQuest tomorrow.
has struggled a ton. If you can beat Dignitas very handedly, like just have it be a stomp of a game, you're flexing muscles, you're showing off, maybe you can snowball that into enough momentum to take out
Yeah.
FlyQuest, which is struggling. But they need to take down Dig here. They can't fall into the trap of just saying, oh, it's a 2-14 team, who cares? They need to come in strong. I want to see Hauntzer, show us why he's been subbed in. I want to see a good performance out of him. It is going to be the Sion for him there in the top lane, as well as the Wukong and Varus drafted for TSM. Lucian, Nami for Dig. Man, I hate this. After they got nerfed, I hate seeing this pick. I'm just going to go ahead and be biased real quick. You have to show off. You have to be so mechanically proficient and dominant. You have to just tell all of these other players, get back in solo queue. This is my game. And if you don't, these champions just don't feel like they hold up anymore.
Yeah, it's just so difficult, I feel like, to really play it out in a way that, it's advantageous to have it compared to a lot of these other picks that are so popular. So we'll see how they're going to be able to do. As far as the records for it, it's honestly not that bad. It's 13 and 15, so it's a little bit below 50%.
Right around the
but,
halfway point, yeah.
I tend to agree. It looks a lot harder to actually pull off wins on this champ, compared to a lot of the other popular bot lanes. And there weren't really any AD bans that were thrown out besides just the Caitlyn. So there's a lot of things that were still on the table that they could have gone towards. Either way, we'll see if Dignitas can really perform on it, because they are going to have to. And while they cannot make playoffs, obviously, they can still play spoiler. And potentially already did play spoiler to CLG, who they beat last week, who is, really fighting for those wins and definitely needs to get every last win. If they beat TSM here, TSM is pretty much toast.
And for Dig too, it's also important to the individual players, get whatever wins you can, have whatever pop-off performances you can, because if you end a split with a record like this, it's not very promising, and a lot of teams like to make changes between spring and summer if things are truly this far in the trench. You need to make a case for yourself.
Yeah, this
all
is
right?
a job application.
Show us what you're good at. Resume, cover letter, all that BS. That's what you got to show us here on the Rift.
Qualifications.
Yeah.
Beat TSM in week 8.
Let's go. That's
There you go.
Right on there.
That's number 1 of the top.
2023 to 2023. Beat TSM in week 8. There you go. But Dig, they really want to show what they're made of here in the past couple of games. Even if you can't still make it into playoffs, the future is the priority here for these guys. Because Cho'Gath locked in.
Okay.
Renata and Nautilus banned out by them, so double support focus with Gnar and LeBlanc banned out by TSM. Maples on Taliyah. TSM fans are happy.
Yeah, he has been so good on the Taliyah. Every time he gets it, it generally spells good things. He's 3-1 on the pick. Has looked really, really impressive. I just think he is such a good facilitator. Maple at his best is when he's moving around the map, when he's enabling Bugi, who has been such a standout player for the team. So we'll see if he's going to be able to pull it off. Cho'Gath, almost guaranteed going top lane, is a really nice matchup actually against the Sion as far as tank versus tank goes. Are you expecting to kill the guy? No, unless they really misplay, but you should be able to get pushed. You should be able to create some sort of a farm advantage and scale up really nicely into those later stages. So we'll see how Armut can get done there. And with this Vi, go ahead.
Oh, I was about to say, the Soraka locked in for TSM, I actually like this against, like when Vi goes in, she goes up into the air and slams down on one specific spot. It is impossible to miss the silence on her if you are in range once she lands from ulting someone, and you can really help to like shut her down. Anivia for Jensen. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, Jensen has brought this out in the past, not this split. I'm trying to think when the last time he actually did play it was. It's been a while. I'm gonna actually try to look it up really quickly. But this is gonna be a fun one. Yeah, he has a couple Anivia games in his career, only 5. He's 2 and 3 on the pick.
Okay.
So, you know, not the best, not the worst, but we'll see if he can actually get a win here today. Anivia does seem to be pretty strong, I think, against a lot of what they have drafted. I'm interested specifically why he is picked against this team. You know, I do think, generally speaking, melee-heavy teams, it's really, really powerful against, but it's not a melee support. It's double melee topside. If he can kind of keep Maple locked in lane, potentially deny some of his ability to roam, get out on the map, that could be very effective.
Yeah, you can push in Taliyah nice and early, and also, later on, Anivia can just stop Sion's ulti from engaging on the team.
Oh, true. Yeah, that's a really nice interaction.
Most champions can't do it because he's unstoppable, but Anivia will just create the terrain, keep Sion on the other side of the wall, and now, what's going to happen? How are they going to engage?
Yep. Sion cannot get in the team fights. Not allowed. Put up the wall. Keep him out of there. We'll see if he's going to be able to do that. There is some potential to kind of like set up things like a nice culling as well. You know, if you can throw down the slow, you drop the ulti, you put the wall behind him, you throw the Q on the side that they kind of have to exit. You can set up 4 things, potentially like Tomo getting a bit aggressive, having a good culling target. We'll see if they're going to be able to do that. It's going to be Comet for Wildturtle, so it will be Lethality Varus here.
Okay.
And I do think this is going to be potentially a difficult lane here for Tomo and IgNar. They're going to have to, I think, get some jungle pressure. And Santorin is playing PTA, which I can't say I can remember last time I've seen that on Vi. That is very atypical. Right. Of course, you can proc it. You have auto resets with your E, so that's kind of nice. But it feels like super early gamey, which is it's kind of interesting. You know, we're seeing a lot of Aftershock these days. And even more than that, when I see people trying to go hyper early game, I actually see a lot more things like Electrocute and stuff.
Well, right now, oh, look at that. Last game we had Bjergsen hitting 600, and now with this game, Wildturtle hits 598, taking that second most LCS games all time title. Very, very good stuff from him. Dude has been in the scene for so long now. But yeah, the poke Varus that you brought up about Wildturtle, I like that a lot because with Varus and Taliyah together, you're going to be able to do some serious poke damage to every target that's not Armut, right?
Yep.
You can chunk these guys down, you can hurt them pretty bad, and then you just have Hauntzer standing in front to be the meatball so that you don't get caught out.
Yep, absolutely. And just to check, there has been some PTA in pro play, but it's obviously massively Conqueror. Like about 60% of games are Conqueror, about 17% of games are Aftershock, and then there's been well, actually, it's more like 24% are Aftershock. And then there's about 8% of total games in pro play have been PTA, so it is getting some play. Not something I've seen a lot of, but
less than 1 in 10 games.
Yeah.
So pretty rare stuff. Bugi goes over the wall with his clone at level 2.
But he doesn't realize that they actually started blue, so this is going to be gone. He is going to be able to take away the Gromp, probably. We'll see if Santorin actually wraps back around for this. There was no ping out on his ward getting dropped, so there was no vision for Santorin on the ward getting dropped, and Santorin is just going towards top side. So he'll be able to take this away. Not that big of a deal, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
You know, he is going to be like losing some travel time crossing map. And, you know, there is a ward, or was a ward from Dignitas over by his Raptors. So eventually they're going to see when he actually comes back to that side and get an idea of potentially what has gone on.
Yeah, I like the fact that he wanted to go for it. I like the fact that he's trying to surprise Santorin early on, but maybe doesn't work out to steal a whole lot. Jensen gonna get ganked now by the Wukong.
That's annoying.
He's getting smacked around a little bit. He doesn't have to use a summoner spell, but he loses a good chunk of HP there. That's gonna make Maple feel better in the lane.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, because it wasn't a gank that actually took a lot of time, it's actually very effective because that just cost him a potion. But now,
oh, Maple flashing away from the follow-up stun of Jensen after Santorin starts off the gank. Nicely done by Dignitas, getting both summoner spells out of the TSM mid laner.
Yeah, able to go there. And we'll see if he wants to just repeat. Like, why not? He has flash. He can actually, if he hits his Q flash, this is a dead Maple. Unfortunately, not going to be able to get it. Will kill off that ward, though, with the auto reset on the E. You can always do that if they're dropped in your face. So you still have to give respect to the fact that he could be there. We know that he's going back to farming, but is a little bit nerve-wracking there for Maple. And he actually had a second charge with the Trinket Ward, so just redrops, make sure that the Vi is not just camping it out. But he could come back now as Bugi has been spotted. do they actually want to try to take this potential 3v3? Santorin's going to move over as Armut's coming down.
Yeah, Armut joining up first with Hauntzer still back in the top lane means Bugi does not want to stick around for this Scuttle Crab any longer. He has to disengage, but now they're ready to go back. Jensen's coming up to join. Remember, even though he's low, he has his egg, so if they burst him down, it's not going to matter unless they can do it twice. Hauntzer getting caught out now. TSM all over the place. Armut's going in. He grabs first blood. The Sion body's going to come back, but now Jensen's in a spot where he might have just caught Maple. Santorin's providing the extra cover. Armut drops. It'll be a 2-for-1 favoring Dignitas.
Yeah, that is really good for Dig, and for Jensen to be able to get killed that early on is really going to accelerate the Anivia. Sure, Cho'Gath does die, but Cho'Gath got first blood, so who even cares? His lane opponent just got the assist. You know, slight mistiming on his Q potentially could have helped him get out there as he was trying to actually time the Q to knock up Hauntzer as he spawned in the zombie form. Did it a little bit too early. We can see one more time. The roam was much faster there from Armut. Taliyah had already been chunked down pretty low, so they're still feeling like they're in a pretty good spot. And yeah, Hauntzer is on the roam, but look how low Wukong is by the time he actually arrives. So they get him down about 20-30%. Hauntzer trying to get in here and actually help. So Maple commits to this fight, enters, tries to actually help out his team. But remember, he has no flash and he has no ghost. So the wall from Jensen was great. Able to just lock him in, get that kill over onto Jensen, and on the other side, they do trade one back, but really good things happening here for Dig early.
Dignitas off to a good start. That's what you want to see. Giant Spell purchase for Armut. I want to see Heartsteel Cho'Gath. The two tanks are just going to be smacking each other around the whole time. You might as well just be farming up a ton of HP, become that 6,000 health wall that just absolutely stomps into a team fight. Because again, if the enemy team is going to look to poke you, you need to have somebody who can absorb all that and just shrug it off. And yeah, you're pointing out the Executioner's calling first item for Santorin's buy, trying to shut down some of the healing that's going to be coming out of Chime Soraka.
Yep, exactly. You have that Soraka over on the other side. You're going to need heal cut at some point, so they're selecting to have Santorin go for it. Likely going to be the full first item then.
And I like the fact that they're going for it through Santorin because he's always going to be diving on the target they want to blow up.
Yeah.
And Lucian and Nami both want to rush their Lucian-Nami double mythic spike. Anivia wants to be stacking tier, working towards the first mythic. It feels kind of bad for your carries to stop off for the Grievuser.
Yeah, you know, I agree. I think the other argument you could make is for the Anivia, because Anivia can just apply it to kind of people pretty easily.
Yeah.
But the main target, you know, is generally going to be whoever Santorin is on. We'll see how effectively he can apply this. And the early tier going to be really nice for Jensen, who does have a lot of mana now. Anivia can really struggle with the mana issues if you have a bad early laning phase, but he got that first kill. It got him tier plus a mana crystal, and he is just punishing Maple now, who has to use the ghost again immediately as soon as it's up. And he's going to have this push near constantly now. As long as you're not having mana issues, you're post 6. He's going to be in a really good spot, but you can see Bugi is trying to wrap around, trying to actually help him out of this difficult situation.
And you brought it up earlier. This is what you want to do to Taliyah, but unfortunately for Jensen, he was too far forward. He gets punished. Maple even gets the money. It's scrambled eggs for lunch. TSM's eating good.
Yeah, that's a little bit rough. Was looking really good for him, but gets caught on that fling. Didn't actually commit the flash. Maybe thought, hey, you know, even if I get flipped in, I'll be able to survive. But Bugi is in the area. Took at least a tower shot, I do believe. Doesn't end up committing the flash. Does end up going down. Dignitas pushing on this bottom side, but Bugi is in the area. I'm not sure that he was spotted, but IgNar and Tomo going to stay safe for now.
Tomo and IgNar with the Lucian Nami still working towards that first power spike, but let's go ahead and take another look at how Maple caught Jensen.
Yeah, Jensen just getting a little bit too close. Wants to go for this trade, you know, trying to actually fling him in, but sidestep on the Q there from Maple, lands the seismic shove. The resurrection almost comes up, but Bugi there to help finish it off, and maybe could have gone up if the jungler wasn't there, so maybe he was just feeling like, hey, I can trade aggressively to actually chunk him down and lose my passive for it, but not expecting the jungler to be in the area. Either way, just clearly got a little bit too risky.
Jensen back into mid lane, again finding the stuns and the walls, throwing up the wall and knowing which direction the enemy champion is going to walk, because if normally a player is going to click back when you're walking towards them, your champion will auto path towards the side of the wall where there's the least amount of distance to get around. So you place it slightly offside so there's one shorter way, and you throw your Q there to automatically hit them. That's how some of these Anivias read the plays and the setups, and it's how you guarantee the big trade.
Exactly, and if they don't want to commit to walking out one side or the other, guess what? They're camping in your ultimate and just taking free damage. So you kind of are forced to make that choice, and that's why you can get these really advantageous trades. And we're seeing, you know, how good the Anivia is looking in this matchup based on some of these trades. Taliyah at relatively short range when he actually steps up for those Qs. Jensen can just step up, drop the R, drop the wall behind him, and start getting these really big chunks.
Ooh, engage from TSM as Hauntzer starts it off and Armut's the target, but that's not a very good target because of the fact he's so tanky. It ends up still going the way of TSM as Dig could not respond in time. They had exactly the damage they needed. They get through the tanky Cho'Gath. Bottom side, the 2v2 breaks out all the way. IgNar wants to go in. Tomo's nearly killed, but so is Turtle. Both AD carries backing out with only 100 HP left, but Chime can heal Turtle up. He's gonna snipe out a couple of the minions there with a piercing arrow. Meanwhile, back up in the northern part of Summoner's Rift, it is the Herald secured as TSM and Dig are just going blow for blow.
Look at Turtle's health, though. This is getting a little bit dicey for Tomo. That one actually connects, so Tomo again down incredibly low, and IgNar doesn't have mana.
Oh. Tomo still has flash. There's no world where he should die here. Wildturtle gets hit by the wave. Dignitas can walk it off. They'll be able to get back, I think.
Yeah, he's okay.
Ooh, okay.
But, I mean, it's one of those situations now that the wave is bad, right? So that's where it gets rough. They try to actually look for this all in play. Turtle and Chime electing to actually just hard shove, so they're not going to hold the wave. They are just going to try to shove this out, reset it. It is not a kin wave, so they should be able to get it into the tower no problem, which is going to mean lost farm for Tomo and IgNar. They are still up on that important summoner. They have that flash available for Tomo. So there is potential that Santorin could get down there. As soon as his ult's up, I honestly want to see him down there and try to punish Turtle or try to punish Maple. The two carries who are missing their flash, you've got to continue getting kills and putting on pressure.
Plus 200 gold is all that TSM is ahead. They want to try to keep this rolling. They've got that Herald in the inventory of Bugi, so I want to see where they decide to drop that, how soon they decide to drop that. Bugi coming up around. Remember, you can just use the clone to jump over that wall, get himself in a good spot. Yes, it's a long cooldown, so he won't have it unless he wants to wait all the way. But no, as soon as Hauntzer hits that decimating smash, Bugi sees the opportunity to join in. Still 8 seconds left on the Wukong Cyclone, so that's one thing that Armut will at least have going for him for a little bit longer, but now it's ready to go, and now Armut's in a whole world of trouble. Santorin comes in mid, looks for the ulti on Maple and finds him. Jensen's ready for the follow-up. Maple is very low. Armut dies top. Maple dies mid. 1-for-1 across the ring.
Yeah, good trade. Dignitas, as soon as that ulti was up, Santorin just went straight mid. That's exactly what I wanted to see from him. Punish that missing flash from Maple. Does seem to be having a lot of trouble in this matchup. Did get that kill on a bit of a misposition from Jensen, but the trades, every time we look towards mid lane, the trades are so in favor of the Anivia. It does seem to be pretty difficult for Taliyah. Not a matchup I've seen much of, because honestly, we just barely ever see Anivia these days. But it is looking really good for Jensen. It's one of those things where sometimes you can bring out these picks when you've been around for a long time. You have practice on these champions that other people aren't really expecting.
And I think that's a huge factor. Your opponents are constantly practicing meta. Everybody's playing what the best picks are. So you're not going to have the practice against this champion that came out in 2009 and nobody plays 14 years later, right? Froggen is not in the LCS anymore. You don't practice against Anivia on the regular basis that you used to, and it just means that you can catch them off guard so much easier because they don't have the reps.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Maple's obviously a super old school player as well, so he will have played against at some point, but I don't even know if he would have played against it with Taliyah, because Taliyah is, more modern champion, and it just has not been meta for so many years. Anivia really hasn't been meta since like the early days, it feels like, of League, way back in the day. But Dig going to be starting up this Dragon. Chime moving down. Bugi is as well. And Varus is coming up, so they want to try to contest this. Bugi into the pit. We'll see if he can find an angle to steal, because Maple is zoned out a bit.
Yeah, Maple gonna go ahead and throw out the wall. They look to catch IgNar. The Nami's in trouble, and she just dies. TSM picking up a kill for their jungler, picking up a Drake for their troubles, winning a skirmish here in the bot side river.
Really nicely done. Hauntzer just moves down from top side. Armut has no TP to match, and obviously can't actually match, doesn't have the ulti to do it. So Dig are just kind of forced off. They look for the retreat, but it's a great angle from Maple on that wall, sectioning them off, grabbing it for them, and now another ulti onto Turtle.
Turtle's in some trouble. Chime tried to throw down the silence, but it was slightly to the left, so Santorin still had the burst with the E. It's not like Turtle was getting out of that one anyway. He was pretty much caught. But hey, at least Dig are able to grab that back for themselves, plus 700 gold, but that's about to be equalized here with this Herald charge on mid. Not quite enough to get the second place, so still a little bit of a lead for the side of Dignitas.
Yeah, slight lead there. I feel like, can't you wall the charge from Shelly? I'm not 100% sure on that, but I feel like I've seen that before. Either way, here it is again. You can see Sion moving on the map, and that's why Dig realizes, oh god, we gotta leave, don't we? Sion's coming down. Cho'Gath is up here. He's not gonna be able to join. So it's just the setup of this angle. They section one member off, the wall comes across, IgNar is sectioned out, they get the kill on him, they grab the dragon. but Santorin has been active so far in this early game. And it's nice to see him. Mid and bot both had their flash missing from a while ago, and in that time, he not only killed one, he killed both. He went mid earlier with his last ulti. As soon as the ulti was up, he's instantly mid. He pops the ult, they get a kill onto Maple, and then again, as soon as the ulti's up, he's down towards bot lane, they get a kill onto Turtle, and that's what you want to see. Rinse and repeat, using that ultimate, keeping pressure on, and trying to punish some of these low mobility carries.
Santorin, as a very active facilitator, is a great role for him to play. Santorin, historically, for a guy with such a long career, has never been the super hyper carry jungler who's going to take over the game, like, you know, give you a base drop and do some wub montage stuff, right? Like, this is the kind of guy who plays for the team. He plays around getting his lanes ahead, and I really like seeing this look from him on the Vi. Keep chain gang. Hey, look, the button's ready to be pushed again. Let's go push the button.
Yeah, absolutely. And when he's going CDR early as well, you know, Kempunk Chainsword has 25 ability haste, as well as the Aegis has another 10 ability haste. So he actually has quite a bit already. And you're going to be able to just continuously use that, rinse and repeat. He is hovering down around that bottom side, so potentially going to be able to find an angle there to look for some sort of a play, but will walk across the Scuttler and is going to be spotted out. You can see, though, the move from TSM already coming out for second Herald. They are heading immediately up towards that, so Dig can try to trade for tower damage down on bot side, and we'll see what they're going to look at from that.
Ooh, Sion ulti looking for Armut, but the flash from the Cho'Gath keeps him safe. Even though Cho'Gath can stack up massive amounts of HP, Varus with Blighted Quiver activated on his piercing arrow can absolutely shred him if he gets a good hit. So escaping away from Hauntzer and the follow-up from Wildturtle, Armut doesn't want to give away a kill, but the pressure that TSM found in the top lane allows them to take the second Herald for free. Meanwhile, abandoning bottom lane means that Dignitas can grab first turret for the Lucian and Nami duo.
And honestly, I don't really love the trade when you're giving Herald. When you're getting Herald and you're just giving up like a 4 free turret on bot side. Also, shout out to Emily Rand, who actually drew these. She painted these. I think they're watercolor, so maybe painted.
That's badass.
Probably painted. I said drew, but whatever. Either way, she did them. Really, really cool. Yeah, I found that out actually during the break after the first game, and I was like, I should have said something, but I didn't know. But now I do.
No, that's super cool. Hell yeah, Emily. Do we have we must have them for like every single team, right?
I feel like we should do some drawings for playoffs.
Dude, there's people don't want to see. I don't know how good you are at art. I'm not.
MS Paint stick figures.
Okay, yeah, that's about as far as my talents go, man.
I can use the circle tool to make like a circle for the belly, you know?
Oh, yeah. You can draw the guy's head with a full circle because there's the circle.
Just some squiggly lines for the hair.
Yeah,
I think it would look nice.
All right, I'm down with that.
Yeah.
We could definitely make that happen. So we've still got ourselves a very close game here between these two teams. And again, let's just touch on what they're playing for here. Dignitas is already eliminated, but they're playing for the fact of convincing everybody who's got that decision-making power, hey, keep me on the roster for summer. We can bring this back. We can make a better run. For TSM, your 7 wins. You need 9 to get into playoffs. You need this.
Yeah, absolutely. Dignitas also.
Oh, Tomo caught out by Bugi. Blocked over the head with the stick. TSM picks up the enemy AD carry. They're going to drop the Rift Herald mid. They use the first one mid as well. When you get both Heralds, if you use them both in the same turret, it practically guarantees you take it. I think it does like 90+% of the turret's overall health. So any bit of extra damage blows it over, and TSM take that second turret of the game for themselves. Now Maple throws out a wall. They catch out Jensen. Seismic shove back into the minefield. He flashes over the wall. His egg brings him back. They can't commit enough to kill him in time. They keep trying to dive. Finally, they get him. TSM picking up another kill, but it's going to be repaid as Santorin finds Bugi. Now he's thrown back. Another beautiful shove coming out of Maple. Santorin has to flash to get out. The culling from Tomo providing covering fire as Armut leads the way. They're only going to get Hauntzer. That's not normally a very good target. Wildturtle letting the arrows fly. I don't know what in the hell we're chasing Sion for, but Dignitas lose another man.
Yeah, Dignitas overcommitting there. And Jensen again just greeting out on the flashes, not actually being willing to flash. That seismic shove got him killed in mid lane. It gets him killed again here. Does flash late, but already he's been chunked down so low that he's into the passive, and TSM can finish him off. They can grab a dragon off of this. That is great for them. You know, everyone kind of piling in late for Dignitas, trying to bail him out, but not really able to get too much done there. TSM looking to be in a pretty good spot now.
TSM heating up, almost plus 1,000 gold. Bugi's gonna go top to try to deal with Jensen's push onto this turret. Being a melee champion with Anivia pushing your turret can be such a frustrating experience, but Bugi's gonna keep defending. Now in a 1 versus 5, it looks like. Everybody from Dignitas is just piling in. Bugi dies. Hauntzer shows up trying to reinforce here with a teleport, but it will not matter. Top lane tier 1 turret as well as a kill goes over to Dig, and they're keeping this game dead even.
Yep, getting something back, but you can see pings on that mid lane tier 2 here that is already very low, so TSM gonna try to clean that up, should be able to do so, especially with Chime delaying some of those bases, so solo tier 2 gold onto Turtle here is gonna be a lot funneled into that Varus, who's already doing pretty well. About even on gold already, if not ahead now with Tomo.
But he's also stacking that tier. Remember that Muramana, very cost-effective item once it gets fully evolved. The amount of power you get from that. You can see a fully stacked tier on Maple as well. But let's see how Dignitas lost this fight back in mid.
I mean, it's honestly, it's just greeting your summoners. Jensen wants to try to sidestep here. You can see the Taliyah all comes in. And when you're walled off in this situation, sometimes you just have to take the L, right? Just accept the fact that you have to flash. He realizes if he goes against the wall there with the pillar, he's going to get flipped in. But he tries to sidestep it. Anivia is just so damn slow that you have to just commit the summoner, flash over the wall. He tries to walk out of the fling, not able to do it, then flashes late, but isn't able to create enough space there to get free. And then they are able to trade one back. Santorin does get a shutdown kill, but you can see Tomo arrives, dashes straight into those rocks, stuns himself up, and then Armut is going forward, but they don't have the health to actually do the trace.
Yeah.
They get Hauntzer chunked a little bit low, but you're never really going to burst down that Sion with a rapid-fire Gale Force Lucian. Like, who cares?
This Cho'Gath has not been the tank that Dignitas wants this game. 4 deaths out of the 8 of Dignitas are on Armut there on the front line, so needs to be a little bit more careful with the situations he's getting himself involved in. TSM plus 1,000 gold, plus 1 Drake up over Dignitas. Looking for a potential invade. Santorin goes over the wall, and they're ready to counterattack. Chime's the focus, and Tomo puts the bullets in his back. Jensen gets the kill, and Dignitas find a pick off of TSM's attempted invade.
Do they start Baron, I wonder? Because Taliyah's about to show bot. You know, are you willing to actually just start this up? You have Cho'Gath to help secure it. I think they should. At the very least, you want to force Maple up here. So they're going to start it up as soon as they showed bot side. You now know you have a 5v3 top lane right now. Tomo's got to be a little bit careful, get back with the team, because this is going to go down very slowly without that Lucian damage.
Tomo knocked up by the decimating smash. Hauntzer's just trying to get all the aggro that he can. Tomo's down to 100 HP, and Hauntzer kills him. Armut might go next, but he flashes over the wall. IgNar's the next target of Bugi, but Maple shuts down Santorin. With IgNar and Armut both at no HP, TSM just got a bear unleashed for him. Armut is burning away to the Leandries. The Nami heal keeps him alive, but does he still burn? Oh no, Armut just barely lives. Dignitas just hobble away as TSM takes the fight and takes the Baron.
Great job by Hauntzer. I mean, he practically soloed Tomo there, just not showing the respect over. And again, the Dignitas carry is getting punished here. You know, not really paying that respect you need to over to Sion. So Sion walks up on him, you know, has the slow, full knockup, ults into him as well. Then Turtle just gets the Q through, but the rest of it is all Hauntzer. Just flashes over the wall, gets that grass proc, another Q lands on him, takes him down. 80% of that damage, 70% of that damage was all Hauntzer, throwing out the Lucian, which is not what you expect at this point in the game. But with Tomo going down, it was separated from the rest of the team. They had the numbers advantage, it just doesn't really matter. So sloppy stuff from Dig around that Baron, they get punished big time. And now TSM have a massive advantage, kind of out of nowhere.
Look at the damage differences. Plus 2,000 in the mid lane for TSM, plus 2,000 in the AD carry role, plus 1,000 in the top lane with Hauntzer soloing down the Lucian like you're talking about. They just did so much more damage, and now they have a 3,500 gold lead. Baron for the next 2 minutes. Drake spawns in 45 seconds, so you would almost guarantee they're going to be on sole point here. Things are looking really good for TSM and really concerning for Dig.
Absolutely, and now you're kind of in this fallback pattern where it's like, yeah, Anivia has great wave clear, that's nice, but how does Lucian really participate in the game? This is where we've seen from a lot of Lucian games around the world where if you don't execute well in the early game, you don't really have that fallback pattern, right? You know, you're going towards Navori, so it's going to be Gale Force, Navori, Rapid Fire, which just doesn't even tickle a Sion who's this strong, right? And that is going to be the big difficulty, that then all the emphasis is going to be on Jensen for doing that frontline damage, but if they can just push him back, if they can threaten him back, you know, with Bugi, with the Qs and stuff coming through from Wildturtle, they're not really going to have enough to ever threaten the front line.
Tier 3 turret dies to the enchanted cannon minion in mid lane. Hauntzer stayed close enough to it to give it the blessing of Baron, but he didn't want to put himself too far forward and give Dignitas the opportunity to engage on the rest of his team. Now he's going to join up with TSM as Armut's on the wrong side of the wall, and Wildturtle looks to finish him off, but he doesn't quite find the damage. Liandry's isn't going to burn him down, so for the second time, Armut barely gets away, but TSM was after the turret, and that's what they got.
I mean, Cho'Gath is looking like paper. You know, he did go for the heart steal, but pretty much as soon as he got it, Hauntzer just stopped trading with him. He's like, well, it's no longer beneficial for me to actually do any sort of trades, just give you free HP. So he's only been able to get 4 procs of it the entire time, and he actually built that as his first item. So you're not really being able to stack up too much health with it, and that plus the Sunfire is relatively low on resistances because you're just getting some armor from Sunfire. You're getting no armor or MR from Heartsteel. So we saw how much damage was actually done there by Maple and by some of the magic damage that come through from Varus as well with the W and the R. So, you know, he's not really that tanky.
Cho'Gath's only magic resistance is a pair of shoes.
Yeah.
It's not feeling great against a Blighted Quiver and a Taliyah that's got her Seraph's Embrace, got the Liandry's, and both sticks for the hack. Like, once that's completed, Maple's just going to not care about this guy at all.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Deathcap is going to be a massive buy there. He is very far ahead of Jensen at this point. Anivia does scale well. Nice sidestep.
Maple getting caught, though. Nicely done, but not enough to force out the kill. Maple has no flash, but now Bugi's ready to counterattack. Dignitas couldn't get the job done in time, and now TSM's gonna show him how to do it. Jensen's still on the run as Bugi continues pouring the damage into the health bar. Chime and Maple following up behind as Hauntzer wants to keep the chase alive. Santorin had to flash, Jensen had to flash. Dignitas runs away as TSM keeps the pressure up.
Yeah, gonna be able to try to just continue pushing up there. They have the minions coming, and they'll try to turn this into a siege situation very likely because they have a big HP advantage and a numbers advantage right now. They can see that Cho'Gath is down on that bottom side. TSM with all 5 members up here want to threaten this tier 2 and should be able to do it. It's going to be risky from Jensen.
Jensen stuck around for a long time in that brush, trying to get some extra wave clear here. And now Turtle can just fire the piercing arrow at him. Nope, not quite there. Looks like Dignitas is going to be able to get Jensen out of there. That was so sketchy.
Yeah, that was risky business. And does he even have his passive available? He did. He did have a passive, so I'm maybe feeling a little bit more comfortable as a result of that. But we've seen the passive doesn't actually save him in most of the situations.
It hasn't saved him yet.
If your team is winning the team fight, it often saves you. But otherwise, it's just like a second death that you have to kind of watch, similar to GA. So we'll see what they can actually get done here. TSM for now really just waiting for this next dragon. Just going to continue to look to push outside lanes, establish vision control in that bottom side quadrant. We can see they're already getting some pinks in the area here, you know, trying to really get ready for this next fight. If they can grab Ocean Soul for themselves, there's just no shot you're really getting through Hauntzer, I don't think. So it becomes like a 90-10 game at that point.
It's already looking close to that point for TSM for Dig. Tomo goes in and just explodes Wildturtle. Nicely done. But now Hauntzer wants to return the favor. IgNar's already down. Tomo wants to get away to the side, but Bugi's after him. And the Q strikes true. Santorin tries to escape. Bugi looking for the knock-up here with the second part of the Cyclone. Not quite going to find it, but there you go. He gets 2 more. Jensen's on the run. Seismic Shove's going to be sidestepped, but it won't matter. He's still into the egg, and they need to take him out. A little bit more damage will do the trick, and Bugi's got it as a killing spree for the TSM jungler means the end of the fight.
That great initial kill there from Tomo got super aggressive, just burst down Turtle. But again, it's Hauntzer crushing this Lucian. A couple fights in a row now. It feels like it's just Hauntzer on a mission here, catching out Tomo there after that initial kill and getting so much damage down onto him that it was an easy finish off for Bugi.
11 out of 14 kill participation. That's like, what, 80% for Hauntzer here in this game? Close enough to it. He's having an awesome performance in his return to the LCS stage. He's leading the way for TSM as now they're going to grab themselves a Baron again. 8,000 gold lead, Isaac, 27 minutes into the game.
I mean, that tank damage is not to be underestimated. I love this aggressive play here. You know, out of Tomo, gets that initial chunk. This is what you want to do if you're playing Rapid Fire Gale Force. You need to be looking at these assassinations. But then in comes Hauntzer. Look how much damage he actually gets down there. You know, Chime throwing into Q as well, but it's mostly Hauntzer who chunks him down, lands another E. The Q has to get flashed out from, and then Bugi just flashing in to try to finish him off. You can see Santorin ulting back to his Lucian, trying to actually save him. If that was a little bit earlier, maybe the Radiant Virtue heal to keep him alive, but then Jensen has everyone piled in on top of him. and the passive heal just not going to do anything for him. The egg doesn't have time to actually hatch, and Jensen will just go down a second time. TSM crushing it in these fights.
Huge heals from Chime to keep Bugi alive there. They even committed Armut's ult to try to burst down the Wukong. Barely missed out on the damage threshold. He goes into stasis to buy the time while they kill Jensen.
Oh, Bugi's
but now we already got another fight. Bugi's into the back line and Turtle kills Tomo. Already both bot laners dead on the side of Dig as Santorin wants to go after the enemy AD carry, but he won't be able to find anything. Maple and the rest of TSM can turn it all around, and Dignitas can't do anything but die as the TSM lead is crushing them. Jensen tries to deal with Bugi, but the Wukong comes back to life from the Guardian Angel. Maple's on a mission, and he finds the seismic shove. Jensen wants to get away, but it's not gonna happen. Ace TSM.
Another win for TSM. This playoff race is heating up, man. TSM gonna move to 8 wins here. A great game from Hauntzer in his return to the LCS, and another fantastic Taliyah game from Maple.
It started off close, but TSM proved that they are the better team. Dignitas is killed in their fountain. Hauntzer goes on a one-way trip, and it don't even matter. TSM, it's a dub.
Yeah, man, that has got to feel really, really good for them. TSM keeping those playoff hopes alive here. They do have what will be a really tough challenge for them tomorrow, but there is still that shot. If they can take down FlyQuest, they can move to 9 wins. There are still scenarios as well where they can potentially get in with 8 if there are ties, but it was a big, big win for them, one that they absolutely needed, and one that they actually had to really work for because Dignitas went out to a very good early lead. We saw some great early jungling from Santorin. Was able to get kills across a lot of different lanes. But it just felt like TSM was more cohesive as a unit, and the Sion was such a difference maker in a lot of those fights, almost single-handedly taking down the Lucian.
The Sion had all this threat, and the Cho'Gath felt like it posed almost none. So massive difference in the top lane in that game. Yes, we did get to see the one solo kill on Turtle from Tomo's Lucian during that mid lane dive part. That was really cool. Other than that, I feel like we didn't get a whole lot of value out of the Lucian Nami pick on the side of Dignitas either. And you already addressed during the game, Jensen wanting to hold that flash, not respecting the power of the shove and the wall. So TSM just found all these different angles to catch Dig out, to having an edge over them, and that's what ended up building towards this lead.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there was a couple times throughout that game where Dignitas carries got punished. I think just not respecting the damage that could potentially be coming through. You think back to laning phase, Jensen not actually flashing the seismic shove, getting pulled under tower, dying there. When he was in a very winning position in that 1v1, had been doing great as far as the trades. Gets caught out as well as mid lane when he got sectioned off by the Taliyah wall, tried to walk out of the seismic shove instead of flashing in that situation. Dies for that one. And then Tomo as well over by the Baron, not wanting to flash away from that charged up Q from the Sion, ends up taking basically all his health in it. And it also lines up that Q coming through from the Varus. So, a couple of the situations where it can be tough, right? Like you don't want to just use your flash for nothing, but at the same time, you have to really, really quickly evaluate if you're actually in danger of dying and then be willing to spend it. And that's the difficulty of these games. It's so easy in retrospect to see should you have done it or not. But that is what really makes the difference sometimes in these games. You can see last 5, some of these teams heating up, and a lot of our teams at the top really cooling down as FlyQuest, EG, Golden Guardians, all 2 and 3 in their last 5. Cloud9 crushing it.
Yeah.
But TSM now 1 game back, or I guess because they must have lost the head-to-head to CLG is my assumption why they're put in 7th instead of 6th, even though they're tied in record.
Well, TSM's 8-9, CLG's 8-8.
Oh, excuse me,
they haven't played their next game yet.
So they're half a game ahead.
If you're TSM, you're really hoping CLG loses this next one, because again, that's what you're talking about. If the 6th place spot can be determined by a tiebreaker at 8, then you don't have to beat FlyQuest tomorrow. But obviously, it's going to help your chances a ton if you can do it. Reminder, from now until April 9th, you can use your MasterCard to make a purchase from the in-client store and save your card on file to be entered for a chance to win a trip to Worlds 2023. That's this year. Or a set of 8, count them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Player of the Week statues and a MasterCard prepaid card. But now it's time to join Jatt and Hauntzer on stage for the Ryzen post-game interview.
Thank you, guys, and I'm here with Hauntzer. Good to see you, man. We were just talking, the last time you were LCS was 2020 when COVID just started on Golden Guardians. It's been a while. How you feeling?
It's been way too long, man.
Yeah, and I have to ask, because this was a surprise for a lot of us to see you on stage. Yep. How did you feel about your first game back?
Yeah, it's been like 2 years, right, since I last played on stage. Definitely had like a lot of nerves. But I mean, at least we won, you know? So
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy about that. And even though this change was like quite sudden, I'm like pretty confident in my skills. So I knew that I would have a good performance. But yeah, I'm just excited to be back here. And you know, it's only 1 or 2 games, depending like
Right.
maybe playoffs. But yeah, I'm just glad to be back.
Yeah,
Glad to
and
play.
welcome back once again. I thought you played great. You actually won Player of the Game in this one.
Oh,
for
hell yeah,
Sion Chain
nice.
Play. So we'll see. Right,
I'll
one
take
for
it,
one.
bro.
Congratulations. How invested were you in the TSM playoff race? Like, do you know the state that you're in, what needs to be done, or is it really just like, were you just kind of thrown in and needing to play well right away?
Well, I was briefed on it, so I like know that after the loss yesterday, it's not really in our hands. But even then, we're still gonna try our best and perform.
Yeah, 2-0 gives you the best chances. So TSM plays FlyQuest tomorrow. What are your thoughts about going up possibly against Impact in the game tomorrow?
That's gonna be fun. I haven't played against him in I don't know forever, so I hope he's still good, and I hope we can have like a good match.
All right, thank you very much, Hauntzer. Welcome back. Well played. We have COG versus TL coming up next, but first we have the JoJo Player of the Week interview from a week ago.
Welcome to another MasterCard Player of the Week interview. I'm joined by JoJo Pyun, EG mid laner. So first of all, JoJo, thank you for taking the time to do this. I know you guys have been playing from the facility. I've previously talked to you a lot about how much you specifically love and thrive off of competition. So what has it been like playing from the facility versus playing on stage?
I mean, playing from home definitely sucks because it just feels like it's not a real LCS game. It kind of feels like a scrim game. So I feel like it's not as competitive. Obviously, it's the same stakes. So yeah, but obviously I'd rather play in the studio where everyone is and where the other team is too. But you know, there's not much I can do. So yeah.
I mean, you're still highly regarded as one of, if not the best mid in the LCS. So like, what things do you think you do that are really strong and work towards being a better mid laner?
My communication in my early game and late game. Obviously, my mid game I've been running it down sometimes. So, but I think I improved on that. You know, and when playoffs come, I'll obviously be good on that. But I guess just how I play with the team and how well I play with my jungler. So yeah.
I know all the way back, like when I first interviewed you, before you even played an LCS game, you said that you wanted to be the NA Chovy. I was wondering if that is still your goal, or if there's another mid laner that you have really looked up to now that you've had a chance to play against a few other different mids, either in solo queue at international events or on stage at international events.
Whenever I go international, I look up to a lot of mids. It can be Faker, Zhao, Chovy, Showmaker. I mean, obviously all those mids are very good, so it's not just Chovy that I think is good, but I don't know, the world-class mids I look up to. So yeah, I definitely say all of the top mid laners that I just mentioned, and a lot of mids from the LPL too, like Scouts and Knights, are all very good. So I always learn from all of them.
What do you think you've improved on the most as a player from when you came into the league to now?
I definitely see my carry potential is a lot better now, and also can play a lot of champions I didn't really know how to play last year. I would say that's probably the biggest thing, and also just my team fighting and communication too. I mean, basically everything, honestly. So, but those are like the biggest things.
Thank you so much, JoJo, for taking the time. Best of luck in playoffs. And that'll do it for another MasterCard Player of the Week interview.
Thank you.